Apocalypse has returned to X-Men 97, so there's never been a better time to revisit the world where he finally won. On this episode, we're diving into Age of Apocalypse Alpha, pairing this mutant nightmare with a beard that is bold, powerful, and built for the end of the world. Welcome to Craft Beer Comics. Welcome back, astonishing X-Men and Horsemen of the Apocalypse, to another episode of Craft Beer Comics. I'm your host, Harry, and today we are going to be taking a look at Age of Apocalypse Alpha. So I thought with Apocalypse returning in X-Men 97 Season 2, now would be the perfect time to actually go back and read Age of Apocalypse. Now, I read and reviewed Age of Revelation recently, I believe it was last episode, and I wasn't impressed. I didn't like it. I thought it was... Have we passed the 1 minute mark? Yes, we have. I thought it was shit, to be honest. Yeah, it wasn't very good. I didn't like it. If you want to hear more about that, go back and listen to that episode. It's obviously free on Spotify and YouTube. And that was supposed to be like a spiritual sequel to Age of Apocalypse. Obviously, with it being called Age of Revelation. And I thought, you know what? Maybe I should go back and read Age of Apocalypse to see what the big deal is, really. Obviously, growing up, I was a big fan of the cartoon of X-Men. The comics, as a kid, I kind of struggled with, because obviously they're quite political, and there's a lot of power plays and dialogue, and it's not all sort of like shoot, bang, bang, let's explore, let's go home, and everyone's happy. So as a kid, I didn't really get it. But as an adult, I love it. Absolutely love the X-Men. The Krakoa era was just some of the most amazing comics I've read in my entire life. I know I'll probably get a lot of comments that say, oh, it's not that good, I didn't really like it. But I did, so that's that. Everyone can have their own opinion. And then, yeah, I'm reading the latest run of X-Men, written by Jed MacKay. I've read Phoenix. I've got a whole bunch of other X-Men comics that I am keeping in storage at the moment. But I'm loving it. I'm loving X-Men. So yeah, I've heard of Age of Apocalypse. I've seen the designs of, obviously, Apocalypse. I've seen Magneto's design, Rogue, Wolverine, Cyclops, Sunfire. We'll get into that later. But yeah, I thought I'd give it a go. And I picked up X-Men Alpha, which is volume 1 of the Age of Apocalypse sort of line. And it contains Uncanny X-Men 320 to 321, which, when I first picked it up, I was sort of like, why have they included that? It doesn't seem like it's part of Age of Apocalypse, but the ending of those stories directly sets up Age of Apocalypse. So I'm glad I didn't skip it, to be honest. And then you've got X-Men 40 to 41, there's a Cable issue, and then it goes into the Apocalypse issues. So you get X-Men Alpha, which is a single issue, I believe, and then you get Generation Next, Astonishing X-Men, Gambit and the Externals, Weapon X, Factor X, X-Man, Excalibur, Amazing X-Men, and X-Men Age of Apocalypse Ashcan Edition. A lot of X's in that, to be honest. I think this was the era when they were just really leaning into the whole X thing, which is fine. You know, it was 90s. I think it was 1990. It was 1995. Yeah, so there's a lot. There's a lot of issues in this. And it's not like Age of Revelation in the sense of, oh, they're all happening in the world, but they're all kind of boring and not related. Each little sort of spin-off, I guess, Externals, Excalibur, X-Man, Factor X, blah, blah, blah. Basically anything that's not Astonishing X-Men or Amazing X-Men is not necessarily part of the main story that's being told, but it's all still relevant. All of it. And all the storytelling is fantastic. It's just great, to be honest. Yeah, the basic setup is that Legion, who is Charles Xavier's son, mucks about with time, blames Magneto for a lot of stuff, goes back in time to kill Magneto, but ends up killing his dad, Charles Xavier, instead. So in this world, Charles Xavier is not around. He doesn't pull together the X-Men. The X-Men in this world are led by Magneto, so they're very much a ragtag group that's been pulled together. Magneto's trained them up, so he hasn't done it in like a caring father-like way. It's very much, you're going to push yourself until you break, and then you're going to push a little bit more. The only one from the main Marvel universe who remembers is Bishop, because he's a time traveller and time traveller things, I guess. And straight off the bat, I don't like his design. I think it's kind of shoddy. It's not great. But yeah, this first volume it does a lot. There is a lot of information you are taking in. You meet a whole range of X-Men characters, and they're all different enough for this to feel like a significant variant timeline and adventure. I think there are some like possible future storylines or timelines or whatever you want to call them, where it's like, oh, it's your favourite characters, but they're reimagined, but they're not that different, and also nothing's really changed that much. Everyone's still exactly the fucking same, but this, everyone is different. Everyone is different. Everyone looks different. There are people fighting for different sides. For example, Cyclops is working for Apocalypse and Mr. Sinister. Cable was never infected with the techno-organic virus thingy, so he's just a lad. Quicksilver is an X-Man, like full-time. That's kind of cool. I'm a big fan of Quicksilver, so to see him in that's really cool. Scarlet Witch, dead. Good. Wolverine is kind of just off doing his own thing. He's got like a proper relationship with Jean Grey. It's cool. It's really, really cool. I'm not gonna hit on story points too much, because number one, there's so much in this that it would take me forever to go through. And number two, even though it's from like, what, 30, it's 30 years old. Bloody hell. It's 30 years old, this. I don't want to give spoilers, in case you haven't read it, and seeing X-Men 97 makes you go, ooh, maybe I'll check out Age of Apocalypse and see what that's about. So I'm not going to spoil anything this time. I know, shocker. But this is excellent. The story is great, and all the little beats as you're going along, like so Angel isn't an X-Man, but he's got like a nightclub where it's not siding with Apocalypse, it's not siding with the humans, it's like a neutral ground, but that's slowly crumbling, and he's got informants going out for him, and they're all being found out, and Angel's having a bit of a panic. And then you've got the Amazing X-Men doing one thing, and then the Astonishing X-Men doing another thing. I think the Amazing X-Men are... Yeah, so the Amazing X-Men roster consists of Storm, Quicksilver, Banshee, Dazzler, Iceman, and Exodus. Exodus was a surprise, to be quite honest. And then the Astonishing X-Men consist of Magneto, Rogue, Sabretooth, which was weird, Wild Child, Morph, Blink, and Sunfire. And I think that's all of them. I think that's it. I mean, Bishop's there some of the time, but he's a madman. He's doing his own thing, rogue agent. But it's very good. It's very, very, very good. The artwork's very 90s. Okay, as in the first few issues, which set up Age of Apocalypse, they look like they've been drawn by Jim Lee, but I'm not, to be honest, 100% sure on that one. No, looking at the back, apparently it's not, but it's very similar. So that's great. It's great artwork. And then you move into the Age of Apocalypse, and it's the 90s, so everything's kind of very round, I think is the best way to describe it. Which I thought might put me off because it's quite cartoony, quite round. Some things are quite over-exaggerated. Not to the extent of like weird Captain America from Heroes Reborn, but like shoulders and hips and everything are quite exaggerated. There are some panels which almost look like they're kind of like chibi-esque. But obviously the artwork differs from issue to issue and what line you're reading, like Gambit and the Externals. That art style is totally different to Astonishing X-Men. Generation Next, completely different. But none of it's bad. I just want to say that. None of the artwork is bad. It's got that hand-drawn feel to it. I think nowadays a lot of comics they're obviously drawn, whether that's through a digital pad thing or just kind of hand-drawn and then scanned up. But I think a lot of them can feel really, really generic. I mentioned this in my Justice League Red issue, is that sometimes the art can feel so just like boring and flat, and there's no like artistic style to it. It's like someone's just drawn someone as they are. And that's fine. That's fine. It works and it appeals to the masses. But it's nice to have artwork again, which has a bit of flair to it, a bit of style, and like it might not be your cup of tea, but the like hand shading and the issues with color every now and then, they're nothing like huge or ruining. But it's like, yeah, this was a time when they were putting a lot of effort into comics, and you know the colors on this are phenomenal. There's a couple of pages where Apocalypse is just kind of like lording over his empire, and he's got the glow of like volcanoes and fire and everything beneath him, and it's all lighting him up in like yellows and everything, and it looks great. It looks fantastic. So it's really good. If you're someone who's never read anything before, I don't know, 2010, whenever Marvel Now was, I guess, you probably won't be that used to it. Don't get me wrong, there are some amazing comic book artists out there that still have like a really, really strong artistic style. Some off the top of my head, Evan Shayner, Mitch Gerrards, Brett Booth is another one. He did loads of Teen Titans stuff and Titans, and I ate that up. But yeah, if you're used to the very, very generic, mainline Justice League art, you might not be used to this. But to be honest, I think it would be a nice refresher for you, because it looks great. Some of the best comics out there have crazy artistic styles, so maybe if you like build yourself up to it, you'll be all right. But yeah, a lot of the characters in this are redesigned, because they have to. They have to, really. It's Age of Apocalypse. They're not all wearing the yellow and blue colourful tights that we all know and love. Some of the heroes have suits that are pretty much the same or very, very similar. Magneto is pretty much the same. He's iconic, though. I mean, how do you improve upon perfection, Rogue, still got the same colours. Just got a cape, I guess. Iceman, he's just full ice now. He doesn't even have a mouth. Morph's there. He's like a very cartoony, funny, light-heart character in this. I haven't actually read the 3rd volume of this. I think it's Age of Apocalypse Omega. It's on order and it's arriving soon, but I haven't read that yet. But I've just got a feeling that he's going to die. I think Morph's going to die a horrific way in the comics, and I don't know how. Sabretooth looks like Sabretooth. I think the biggest ones are the Amazing X-Men. They've all kind of got this black leather look to them. Very kind of X-Men film of the early 2000s. Maybe not that bad, but they're all black and yellow, apart from Storm, who's black and white. Exodus has a bit of red on him, but for the main part, they're just black, white, and yellow, which is, it's okay. It reflects the storyline they're in. If it was the suits they wore on the main line, I don't think I'd be too happy about it. But yeah, it's fine. The best redesign, though, 100%, Sunfire, who, if you're not familiar with him, yeah, so Sunfire is a Japanese mutant who can generate like superheated plasma and fly, and he's got a bit of a temper on him, blah, blah, blah. His normal, mainline suit, his original suit, I always found it kind of weird, because it has this like almost fish-like mask. Like, it kind of reminds me of Orm from the Aquaman comics back in the day. And then he's red and white, which obviously, like Japanese flag, that's fine. Yeah, his redesign now is insane. It just looks so much cooler and really embraces this whole like flaming body, heatwave style thing. I mean, he's got a mask with just like the Japanese red circle on it. It looks great. And the scenes with him in, where he's just going all out using his powers, the shading, the colouring, it's fantastic. It's really, really cool. So yeah, Age of Apocalypse Alpha, so the first volume here, I'm going to give that an 8 out of 10, because a lot of it is setting up. You sort of know that with a volume 1, especially when there's 3 volumes and it's an event of this size. 8 out of 10. Everything's set up. All the characters are fairly fleshed out already. bam, straight into it. You get the setup from Uncanny X-Men 320 and 321. You're good to go with this. And there's only 3 volumes. They're fairly hefty. I got mine for, I got volume 2 second hand for a tenner. Volume 1, I think I got for like 15 quid. And volume 3, I've had to order new because I can't find it second hand anyway. If you've enjoyed X-Men 97, I'm not sure where they're going to go at the end of season 2. They might follow Age of Apocalypse, who knows. But if you want to see some more apocalypse-y stuff, give this a go. Pick it up at your local bookshop, eBay, any second-hand places. It's well worth your time. Now, we've got to move on to a beer that is powerful enough to match the Age of Apocalypse. And I think before we proceed, it's just worth mentioning, to celebrate this return of Apocalypse, I guess, throughout July, I'm going to be releasing pretty much just the X-Men episodes. We're going to cover the whole of Age of Apocalypse. So that'll be Volume 1 Alpha, Volume 2 Reign, and Volume 3 Omega. And I think at the end of that, I might cover another X-Men thing. I think I might do a throwback episode. I got a couple of old comics. I got some Dead Man, I got some Green Lantern. Maybe I'll do some Plastic Man, mix up a bit. But for the next 3 episodes, including this one, we are covering Age of Apocalypse. Now, put that to the side. Let's get on to the beer. So, I think I actually forgot to hit record, so this is the second time recording this bit. So for the beers for the next 3 episodes, you're going to get 1 IPA, you're going to get 1 sour, and you're going to get 1 stout. I thought I'd mix things up a bit so you get a nice range, even though we're still covering the Age of Apocalypse for the next 3 episodes. So this week we're going with the IPA. It's a 6% IPA from Neon Raptor Brewing Co. called The Terminator. Now this was made in collaboration with Studio Canal. So the can, very nice can. Black metal, the label wrapping around it. You've got a Terminator thingy on it. You've got the logo, it's all red and black, it's very edgy. Kind of comic booky, to be honest. And yeah, I mean, you look at it and you know it's a beer in collaboration with Terminator. Now, this one it's quite hazy. It's not super hazy, but it's definitely hazier than other IPAs I've had. I'm not much of a hazy fan, but this one is very easy to drink. It's got a lot of pineapple flavours. You get those citrusy flavour notes coming through the hops and that. The hops they use are Idaho 7 and Motueka. I don't know if I've pronounced that second one right, but there's no one here to correct me. So if I've said that right, let me know in the comments. And if I've said that wrong, I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments anyway. Ingredients for this one are water, barley, hops, yeast, oats, and wheat. Allergens being barley and wheat. Allergens being barley and wheat. There's nothing funky in this. There's no flavourings. There's no extracts. Yeah, it's a fairly simple IPA. There's nothing super special, but the citrusy flavours are lovely. And if you wanted something hazy but not gonna like knock your socks off, this is one you could go for. And a can list will cost you £4 from the Neon Raptor online shop. I believe you can get it in their tap room in Nottingham as well. I'm not sure if it's on tap or if it's in the fridge. Yeah, it's well worth a taste. Neon Raptor Brewing Co. are based in Nottingham, and I live fairly close to Nottingham. And their beers are pretty much fantastic every time. I don't think I've ever gone to Neon Raptor and come away thinking, cool, that was shit. Because they're great. They're great. They're really, really good. And the team there, they're all lovely, which is always nice. As I said before, this was made in collaboration with Studio Canal. So if you are wanting to get your hands on this, I'd probably do it sooner rather than later. They did a beer in collaboration with whoever made the movie They Live. It was an amazing bubblegum sour, and it's probably my favourite one they've ever done. But unfortunately, they're not doing it anymore, and I imagine it's because the contract ran out. These things do. It happens. You see it all the time. And that might be the case with this one. So if a nice pineapple-y, citrusy, hazy IPA sounds like it's up your street, visit their website, visit their tap room, get one for yourself. I think they sell them in local supermarkets as well, Asda, Morrison's, possibly Tesco, I'm not sure. Sainsbury's might do it as well. Head down to the craft brew sections and you might find a couple. So yeah, the Terminator IPA, 6%, Neon Raptor Brewing Co. It's an 8. We get 2 8s this episode. So that's been part 1 of our 3-part saga into the Age of Apocalypse. Amazing storytelling, a nice setup, fleshing everything out, great artwork, great redesigns. Volume 1 Alpha, 8 out of 10. Following that with a nice tasty IPA, easy to drink, a little bit hazy. If you like pineapple, this one's for you. Another 8 out of 10. As I say at the end of pretty much all the episodes now, this is a one-man show. I am recording, editing, researching, drinking the beers, reading the comics. pushing everything out on social media. That's all me. There's no hidden backer. No one's financing this. I wish they were, but they're not. So any likes, any comments, any subscribers, share it with your friends, all the usual garbage you get at the end of these. But it is very helpful. It's very, very helpful and will be greatly appreciated. Look forward to next episode where we'll be looking at X-Men Age of Apocalypse Volume 2. It's a great little volume. It fleshes out even more of the Age of Apocalypse universe. Plus, you get to find out what's happening with other heroes that aren't mutants, which is a tasty little treat. And also listen along to see if it's going to be a stout or if it's going to be a sour next week. I don't know myself, I haven't decided. But I've been your host, Harry. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. And I'll catch you on the next episode of Craft Beer Comics.